Pendo made it.
Deep into the ocean of failing mumble rapper guys, trappers with no souls in them, social outcasts full of lies, drunken drug dog noodles, and mafiosi villains swins a hidden gem without the glamour, white shot with the finest spins, ready to just tear them all up with his big jagged teeth on this symphonic prophetic masterpiece of a beat. His name won't be known until he speaks the brutal truth about the world and its biggest problems without being rude.
First and foremost, our whole society is on its head. People losing sympathy and empathy, it's just so sad. Not even thinking about their senses, live out to the devil, running bleak around like sheep and searching luxurious heaven. Their whole cranial capacity is just thrown out the window. When, for example, she goes out for one night stands as a widow. When they scream and shout for the explosion of all immigrants to hide from their mistakes with problems which have become imminent. What's wrong having an untraditional family today? I hear ridiculous feminist extremists yap away. They have lost the plot, man, someday they have to stop. Can we just agree that there's no better family there on the top? Everybody should be treated equally well in this world, but it's quite the opposite when basic human rights are rolled up and made to paper balls to be thrown in the nearest trash. That's the issue with us whole thing into slow, much less than brag. Everybody's trying to have a problem with me, but they don't know that I'm the problem they gon' see. Anybody with a hardbacks on their blatant flaws, I shall not let them get out of my fatal jaws. Everybody's trying to have a problem with me, but they don't know that I'm the problem they gon' see. Anybody with a hardbacks on their blatant flaws, I shall not let them get out of my fatal jaws. Calling the whole world here out, without myself feeling doubt, preparing for the bigger bouts like UFC fighters and scouts, masticating concepts away, eyeing down the next racist spray, protecting the population from its own evil sensation. A prophetic reincarnation bestows the incarnation. They had some miscalculations due to miscommunications. No further gesticulations could save from ejaculation in their new world order setting, searching for their closest bearing. Yes, the last one seemed a bit stretched. It's supposed to be a little wedge. Do you think I just named something without it being a bit funny? That's what you get for ignoring things for so long when they're so obvious. Now hold on to something, cause I'm about to get hyper serious. F the feds, F Bill Gates, F the government, and F the cops. F corruption, F destruction, F all social media bots. F fake daddies, F extremists, F radical residents, F wars, and not to forget most important, F for presidents.
Yeah, that's a lot to take in, I know, but I'm afraid it's not the end though. I still have many things to say, so maybe for once, sit down and pray.
I am a lyrical poet writing a biblical poem, laughing you whimsical boss face. I'm like in clinical Roy, with no regrets and no resentment. To me you're a low resemblance of your own pathetic sentence by my omnipresence. Words have become too barbaric since I've gotten to satanic. Activists behave like spastics, thinking out the newest tactics. They've been lost like it's elastic. Girls transform themselves to plastic, and no one sees it as apocalyptic. It's just fantastic. Everybody's trying to have a problem with me, but they don't know that I'm the problem they gon' see. Anybody with a hardbacks on their blatant flaws, I shall not let them get out of my fatal jaws. Everybody's trying to have a problem with me, but they don't know that I'm the problem they gon' see. Anybody with a hardbacks on their blatant flaws, I shall not let them get out of my fatal jaws. Riding on y'all like I'm the great white shark Bruce, letting on those damn sinners watch your tongue loose. In between them snakes, I'm just a mongoose, but they will suffer, cause I know kung fu. I've studied art of war out by Sun Tzu. They won't know I will hit them at full moon, although I may seem like a very cool dude. Touch my fans and your days will be so soon through. What's the future holding for me? Not very much, but if someone out of my hood shall need me, I'll be in touch. It's just so that simple, do not forget where you started out. Growing up on shattered streets and bandits trying to sell the crop. I stated everything I want and I'm going back to sleep, still with an eye open, pulls away the creature of the deep ocean, waiting for a much needed explosion on popular streets. Humanity rise up against all evil and now's a beat.
Yeah, I know I'm definitely not a saint, but hey listen, at least I've got a bucket full of black paint, and with it I shall make my honest message very clear, even for the darnest redneck with a broad silver beard. Long nights, full of cries of children who can't describe anything cause they don't have a side. Our society is in a perpetual sleeping blind, and for who's questioning it was Lenny, Anton on the mic.
Everybody's trying to have a problem with me, but they don't know that I'm the problem they gon' see. Anybody with a hardbacks on their blatant flaws, I shall not let it get out of my fatal jaws. Everybody's trying to have a problem with me, but they don't know that I'm the problem they gon' see. Anybody with a hardbacks on their blatant flaws, I shall not let it get out of my fatal jaws.